Today's episode of the Ride Podcast is brought to you by the CLIC Ring. Wear the ring and show the world that you can live your line at CLICring.com. Heyo, it's your host, Rusty James. It is Tuesday, October 13th, 2015, and this is The Ride. So I'm going to get right to some rant I want to talk about today. It just popped into my brain and is bouncing around like a Mexican jumping bean. I don't know why. It doesn't have anything to do with what I want to talk about today, but I'm going to mention it now because I might forget it in the future. So I believe it was one of the late night talk shows, maybe Jimmy Kimmel or something. And by the way, I don't really watch those too much because I don't have TV. But every once in a while, I might catch a little clip from the show. You know, somebody's sharing it around social media or something, and it's funny. And, of course, you got to watch, what you take in. But anyway, this one was, sad and funny at the same time. There's this spot that they do every once in a while where they and forgive me because I don't remember all of it because it's been a while since I've actually seen this, but it's something about angry tweets or something like this. What people tweet or post online about certain celebrities. So they'll get the celebrities on the show because they'll be on the show for some reason. And then they'll go through some of these really harsh, and I probably shouldn't listen because it can get pretty harsh. And I don't need to be putting that, disastrous language into my brain. But I guess since I brought it up, we're talking about it. So anyway, the thing is, you listen to what these people post, just the general public. And it's really harsh. I mean, you would never want to hear them say these things right to your face. But I'm watching, this is the thing. I'm watching these celebrities, and they're like, they've learned that comment is just one of a billion or a possible 7 billion potential comments. And they don't care. They don't care. If they were to care, they would be, more neurotic than they already are. So they've learned to not care. So I just wanted to think about that and talk about that just for the briefest moment of time, because in our Fearless class, we've been talking about fear of rejection. Well, those kind of tweets and posts and things are a blatant rejection of the person. And it's not just, a rejection of what they do. It's a rejection of the person. Slamming their body image, slamming how they talk, how they act, what their hair looks like, what clothes they wear, and who their mama is. I mean, just all sorts of evil. And they've learned to just brush it off like it doesn't matter to them. Now, sometimes you see a little glint in their eye that, it does matter. But they've kind of sucked it up and decided, well, we can't let that bother me. Or maybe it bothers them, but we can't let it affect their life trajectory. And that's what I want to encourage you guys today with. There are 1 billion opinions in the world. 7 billion or so to be exact. And if you're living your life based on the opinion of anybody other than God's, yourself's opinion included, if you're living according to someone else's opinion other than the Lord, you might be headed down a direction that it doesn't fit the bill. It doesn't meet what the Lord has for you. So just keep that in mind, okay? That's just a little sideline to the main point today. So I have a scripture I'd like to read to you. And I have it on a special plaque here. I'll tell you why in a minute. Cool? It's so dark though, I have to turn my light on. Boom. All right. Actually, there's a couple of verses here, and I want to read. Well, I'll just read them and we'll talk about it. Okay, so, and this is a mandate. I'll explain what I mean by mandate in a momento. Okay, so this comes from Hebrews 4:14 through 16. Ready? If you want to grab your Bible and look along, go for it. Again, Hebrews 4:14 through 16. You may pause this tape right now, read it, and then come back. Thank you. All right, here we go. Therefore, since we have a great high priest who has ascended into heaven, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold firmly to the faith we profess. For we did not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses. I'm pausing for effect, actually also to drive. But we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin. Then let us approach God's throne of grace. Okay, let us approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. You know what that says to me? That says to me that we should not be ashamed. Whenever we mess up, we can come to the throne of grace with confidence. We can come and receive the help that we need anytime. God knows our situation. God knows that we have failed. God knows that we will fail at times. But He's letting us know that we can approach His throne with boldness and knowing that we can get help. That's what He's about. He's a restoring God, and He wants to help. Got it? Got it. Okay, one more. Philippians 2:12 and 13. Pausing now. Okay. Therefore, my dear friends, as you have always obeyed, and not only in my presence. Okay, hold on a second. I got to read that again. Cool? Too much going on out on the road. I can't do multiple things. Philippians 2:12 and 13. Pausing. Therefore, my dear friends, as you have always obeyed, not only in my presence, but now much more in my absence, continue to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. And this is the key. For it is God who works in you to will, boom, and to act, boom, boom, in order to fulfill His good purpose. I want to read that again. For it is God who works in you to will, underscore that, to will and to act in order to fulfill His good purpose. Did you hear it? For it is God who works in you to will and to act. Okay. So I said that those were mandates. I was reading those from a plaque from a company. A company I started, yes, indeedy-do. It's called No Fail Concepts. And it's the parent company of a website called CLICRing.com. Now, some have asked, well, what is this CLICRing.com? I hear an ad before some of your podcasts about CLIC Ring.com. What's that all about? Well, if you went to the website, you'd be able to figure it out. But I'll just tell you today, no sweat. I'm all about clearing the air. So CLICRing.com is all about the CLIC Ring. CLIC Ring.com. And you may ask, well, what's the CLIC mean? Well, I'm going to tell you. But before I do that, I wanted to explain something. That no-fail concepts, I wanted to make a company that would create and market this ring, the CLIC Ring. And this plaque I was reading was something I put together to kind of remind the company what we're standing for. And that those two scriptures were our mandate, to abide by those scriptures, to follow those scriptures, to kind of look to those scriptures often. And the kicker for me, and I'll explain why the CLIC Ring exists in a minute, but the kicker for me is that last line that I kept repeating. For it is God who works in you to will and to act. Okay? Really, really super duper important. It's not we ourselves who will ourselves to do the right thing and, get past these struggles we have. It's not up to us to just muster up enough courage to do that kind of thing. It is God who works in you to both will and to act. So it's the power of God working in you to desire to do the right thing and then to do the right thing. It's the power of God in you to do that. Now, do we just sit by and let Him do all the work? No. We do what we do, and we renew our mind, and we reject evil, and we say, God is working in me, so I don't need to be dabbling in this other stuff, because the dabbling is what I'm going to talk about today too, because it has to do with the CLIC Ring. Because CLIC stands for Christ-like Internet Control, baby. And there are too many situations out there, too many opportunities out there online where you can dig into a rabbit hole and maybe never ever come out. And you know what I'm talking about. One of the big ones is pornography. I understand the draw. I think most humans understand the draw. But I want to be drawn to the Lord more than that. I really do. We were not made, basically, pornography, if you think about it, if you boil it way, way down, pornography is adultery. And we're to avoid that. That's sin, my friends. It's not just, having a little bit of fun. No, it's sin. And it really is a sin against your own self and against either your future spouse or your current spouse. And if you think about it a little bit more, it's a sin against God. We're to be His bride. The church is His bride. And what are you doing? What are you doing to the relationship between you and your bride? Or, you and our spiritual husband, if you will. What are you doing? Don't get into that adultery. Even looking at it, it is adultery. That's what Jesus says. Okay, so the CLIC Ring exists. I got to make this fast. I'm running out of time on my commute. Let me give you a couple more things from that plaque that I have here. This is our mission. Helping people live a life of freedom by understanding the authority already available through the finished work of Christ and the methods to activate this authority boldly and without shame. You may have been through some addictive behavior in the past, but God can restore. And you don't have to live in shame anymore. You do not have to. You need to give it to the Lord, though. You need to give that part of your life to the Lord. Okay? That's our mission. Our vision is that the CLIC Ring will be widely recognized as a renewing force in the battle with online addictions by transforming the culture with the resolute actions of an individual who understands the authority that they can rightfully wield. You know, God gave you the authority over sin. You know that? You have authority over sin because of what Jesus did on the cross. You now have authority to break the bondages that Satan has put on the lives of non-believers and believers alike. Jesus said, greater things will you do when I'm gone than the things that I've been doing. Well, Jesus lived a life without sin. You know, we read that scripture, that first one we read, yet he did not sin. A couple more things. No-fail concepts. You know the cool thing? I have a tagline for that company. And it has everything to do with how you see yourself. Because we can see ourselves as failures. We miss it. We fall into sin cycles. We miss it. Here's the thing. This is a tagline for no fail. Get that? No fail concepts. Tagline is stand up, dust off, walk on, repeat. I'll let that sink in. I felt that was a really good reminder, because we do miss it at times. And the Lord is full of mercy, and He is always there. And the more we come to Him, I believe, the more we won't have to stand up and dust off. Because we realize each time we go through one of these cycles that, that sin, it really didn't satisfy me. And why am I always coming back to the Lord to help me get out of this situation, this shame, this hurt, this pain, this disillusionment with life, whatever it is? I keep coming back to the Lord to get out of it. Well, why not just avoid that thing and stay with the Lord? I don't know. Makes sense to me. And yet I still blow it at times. So that's one reminder about the no fail. So I also want to read you one more thing. I'm just nailing you with marketing material, but hey, it's more than marketing material. You know that. Okay, so here's the thing. Christ-like Internet Control Ring. You'll have to check it out online and see what you think. It's a reminder. I wear it on my pointer finger. I don't always wear it, but when I wear it on my pointer finger. It's a reminder to me when I look down on my finger what to click on and what not to click on. You get it? You get my gist? And so for the CLIC Ring, there's even a tagline. It's live your line. Now, originally, I came up with that because I wanted to market this for believers and non-believers alike and kind of tell them, hey, every one of us has a line of integrity that we want to live. Whether you're saved or not, you have some line of integrity that you want to live. And the internet makes it easy to cross that line. So this ring is a reminder that, you know what, you can live your line of integrity. But the cool thing? That was my original concept for that. And then I came up with some print materials, and I really like the look of, those kind of, antique-y crown images, kind of grungy. I'm kind of into the grunge look. My material has a lot of that. Well, anyway, I came up with this really cool crown that's kind of grungy on it. And I just like the look of it. And then one day I realized, live your line. Oh my goodness. I think God implanted that idea into my brain cavity before I understood why. Because living your line, hello, we are in the line, a royal line, because we've been adopted sons and daughters of the King, baby. And living your line means a whole lot more now. You see that crown on this print material, which I'm about to read you this, which is really powerful, I think. It makes it a whole new thing. We are royalty, and we have authority over the enemy and over the lies he has portrayed or conveyed or whatever you want to call it. But let me read this to you. Let every image looked upon be pleasing to you, for I am grafted into the line of the King, called and authorized as your holy representative to a world in desperate need of integrity. That was let every image. Let every word spoken and every idea texted, posted, and published be given to lift up my brothers and sisters. Let every word spoken and every idea texted, posted, and published be given to lift up my brothers and sisters, as this is fitting for those you have chosen as true witnesses of the crown. That kind of speaks to what we talked about earlier on about people posting negative stuff. Don't be doing that. Don't you be cut on Jimmy Kimmel Live as one of those texts. Okay? Keep on going. Let every thought, so we're talking about image and that which is spoken and posted, and now every thought be held captive and every deed made to align with the truth of your word infallible. For I am willingly subject to Christ, the only rightful authority over all things seen and unseen. He's the rightful authority, and we operate as his ambassadors wielding that authority. So, final one. I define who I am each day by the choices I make, and regardless of my past failings, I will adhere to my ultimate calling, which you have provided all ability to accomplish. This day, I choose to live your line. What are you choosing to do today? There's a line established. God placed it in the sand. He says, this is the way it's going to be. You're going to live that line? I challenge you, if you've not accepted him as Lord of your life, it's time to do so. If you're not in that royal line, you really don't know what you're missing. I hope that this podcast is helping you see that there are things that you're missing out on if you're not part of this royal kingdom, really. So that's my challenge to us all today. I'll talk a little bit more about the CLIC Ring, maybe the history of it another time, and how it came to be. But I just wanted to put that encouragement into your brain cavity today and into your heart cavity today. Got it? Got it. So you stay in the Word and you live in peace and you pray and lift up those who persecute you. And you let every image looked upon be pleasing. Let every word spoken and texted be pleasing. And let every thought be held captive and be pleasing to the Lord Most High. Got it? Got it. And I will see you on the flip.